Your work is mostly for women. So what are some sacred rituals you wish more women did for themselves? I'm correct in saying your work is mostly for women, right?
Absolutely. I am not for everybody. I am very clear about that. So I speak specifically to women, and I have added and enlightened men. So for example, this past weekend, I did a goddess workshop for the College of Psychic Studies, and there were some of the enlightened men there. So, but I'm speaking to women, and I made it clear to the men, like, okay, you are here, but I'm speaking to women. So you are here and you can benefit, but I'm speaking to women. So one of my favorite rituals is the sweetening jar ritual, which most people know from African American hoodoo, but it is also a practice that is done throughout the Caribbean in many different different African diasporic spiritual practices. So the way that a sweetening jar is done at its most simple is if there is something that you are wanting to sweeten in your life, like say your relationship with yourself or your love life or your career or your relationship with abundance, you use this sweetening jar. And I'm going to explain how to do it in a second. I first wanted to share that a lot of people use this as a love ritual. And when it comes to love rituals, it's imperative that I point out, I'm not a favor of any manipulative magic, anything that feels like you're trying to make other people do anything. That is not what this is. And first, do no harm. That is not what this is at all. So I love doing this as a self-love ritual. So what you begin with is what you have access to. That's what our ancestors did. So you can use a mason jar or whatever jar that you have. This ritual I did over the weekend with a group, and I used an empty spaghetti sauce jar because that's what I have. And so you gather things that are sweet. The beautiful thing about a lot of this sacred magic is that it is literal. So if you want to sweeten the energy, you use honey, which is the nectar of Goddess Oshun. You can use brown sugar with things like honey and sugar. I recommend using honey and sugar that are native to whatever location you are in, because the honey is pollinized by the local bees and it is more active. The supermarket here where I am, the honey that I got actually was honey from New York.
Oh my God.
And so I use that. That's where I'm from. So it all worked. It all worked together. I also added in my sweetening jar cinnamon. Cinnamon is a quickening agent. It increases the energy around abundance. And so you can put cinnamon in your wallet, for example, or in your bag. You can use, cinnamon sticks. It quickens the energy. It accelerates the energy of abundance. So you can use that. I also used I put cookies and I put chocolate in this beautiful ritual, along with pieces of paper where you can either create a petition, something that you are calling in, or just a sacred intention. And with the divine, because as quantum physicists say, time is not linear as we think it is. It's all happening simultaneously. You write out statements of gratitude. I'm so happy and so grateful that I feel good about my body. I'm so happy and so grateful that I'm in a loving relationship. I'm so happy and so grateful that my job or my business is thriving. I'm so happy and so grateful that abundance comes to me easily and effortlessly in unexpected ways. So you write out these statements and you are then putting them in the sweetening jar and sweetening them with the honey, with the sugar, with the cookies, as I used, with the different elements, whatever it is that you are putting in your sweetening jar. So that's the beginning of that ritual, which you can use to sweeten your own self-love or sweeten your love relationship with someone else.
Oh, I love that. And then, so where do you put this jar? Do you just keep it in your kitchen? Do you keep it with you? Where do you put it?
So you can use it if you're an altar person and you're into altars, you can put it on your altar. You can in the new moon light. This ritual is a wonderful one for the new moon. So new moon is, dark moon. Mm-hmm. So on the night of a new moon, you can put it out and let it be charged by that energy. You can put it in the kitchen. You can keep it in the kitchen for a time. There is a wonderful great ancestor, Zora Neale Hurston, who I relate to so much, who was an anthropologist who wrote a lot about these practices. And she talked about visiting a spiritual doctor who in his kitchen at that time had a huge jar full of the petitions from everyone in the neighborhood with the honey, and it was overflowing. So you can do any and all of these things with it. All of us you're more intuitive than you think that you are.
Yeah.
You have more answers than you think you do. And so follow what your guidance tells you to do. This may be an 8-day ritual. It may be a 5-day ritual, depending on what you feel the prescription is, or if you're working with a spiritual teacher, what they tell you.
Okay, if you like this podcast and you want to see more, just click over here and you'll get to see more clips from this interview. If you just want to listen, well, if you click there, you'll listen to the entire interview available to you on any one of your favorite podcast channels.